remember seeing you in Create, meditating. It's one thing, like, for me personally, now I can feel it more than ever, that it's, what does Alan Watts say, that meditation is prescriptive, not compulsory. Have you heard that quote?
I haven't heard that quote.
I'm definitely butchering it, but he talks about like how meditation itself, you don't have to be meditating all day every day. Not everybody needs to be meditating, quote unquote, and everyone has to be. But like if you were sick, there's medicine that you should take. The same way, if your head isn't where it should be, meditation is the medicine for that. It's the fix for that. And I have not been doing it half enough recently, and I can feel it so much. Like when I was living in London, spent so much time on the tube. I was just like, you can go a normal day in London. Have you been to London? The public transport there, like Darry was saying, like, why is it normal for you to spend an hour and a half gonna see your friends? And you do, like, you can spend an hour and 45 minutes gonna see somebody on the tube. It's crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it just becomes the norm. But in the time where I was most on it, most on my shit, that was my meditation time, let's say. So I was like comfortably cranking out an hour straight. Now, man, I can't do 5 minutes. Like, really, I've fallen off the wagon so much, and I can feel it, because then I didn't have any money. I was in the toughest part of entrepreneurship, but I was content with anything. I remember just like fucking sitting on my bed, looking at the 4 colored pens I have, and just grinning like a fucking Cheshire cat, because I was just so content with like the littlest thing. I remember I was out. Like, I did just a bunch of random stuff because I've been spending the last few years learning to trade, so alongside of that, just been doing any kind of hustle on the side to make money, anything that wasn't a regular job.
Oh, yeah.
Anything to avoid that.
Yeah.
I remember, just like people coming up and like just start talking to me about meditation or just stuff. I was just giving off that vibe, and now I feel like I'm not 100% myself. I'm a little bit more on edge, not as comfortable in my own skin, and I'm sure that a huge test to that is because I'm not meditating as much anymore.
Well, it's interesting you say that, and I meet you, because you seem like you come off that way, like you seem very calm and like meditative. So maybe like when you're in your really meditative state, you're probably like monk, like yeah, you're probably like so zenned out. So yeah, I see that. I see that with you. It's interesting that like I forget that I meditate in public like that. I think as a quick thought that it should be kind of normalized to just sit. At first off, I was thinking like, hey, is it okay to just kind of just sit here? Well, it's kind of weird to even think that, like.
It's the ultimate test, almost. if you are meditating, it's like, can you do it when it means the most? And for sure, people, I think it's a respectable thing to do, because it's that uncomfortable initially to get there and do it. But I think I don't want to use the word lesson, and we're talking about teaching earlier. Not a lesson, but it's an example, let's say. And I love seeing people meditate in public. I instantly, it's like, hey, you're doing it. Because it's just a ripple effect. It makes other people, some people, it's so out of their spheres that they might like never come across. Of course, they know what it is, but just exposure and just makes people think. People who are on the edge to it might push them over to, they're not going to do it in public, but they might go home that night and do it in their room, and just leading by example as opposed to preaching on the internet.
Yeah, normalized meditation. Hey, normalized meditation in public. I feel like it's just like such a natural state to be in. So like I find myself in Create Space because it's a very relaxing spot. Just accidentally just kind of just like, like it feels so good, like, I don't know. That's the main reason I do it. Like, it's cool that the composure and all that stuff. But I think like just there's different types of meditations, obviously, like There's different anchoring points. The most common one is the breathing one, but my favorite one is the body meditation, like just meditating on different parts of your body. Like, for viewers, you can probably just like feel the inside of your feet. How does it feel on the inside of your feet? You might get like a little tingly, kind of like wormy kind of feeling in there, and it's like, and it might even feel uncomfortable for some people, right? Because the body is your brain and it stores certain things in there. But I find that to be like exponentially interesting as the days go by, because I get messages from my body that doesn't necessarily come in words all the time. It comes in memories. It comes in, it comes in different types of things. Might even come in things that I notice, like, oh, why am I noticing this right now? Out of all the things that I can notice, and I think it's very beautiful, man. Like that. I don't want to go too deep too fast, but in life we come across certain phrases that pertain to the body in a poetic sense, like symbolic, like the heart symbolizes courage, compassion, empathy, truth. I find that like when I'm looking for something, I meditate on the symbolic image of the body part. Like if I'm looking for courage, back, and then, shoulders for if you're stressed out,
Yeah, that's a big thing with me. What I'm noticing now is my shoulders. Like we were talking there, my shoulders are just going up, and I'll bring them down, and then in 2 minutes later, I take a breath. I know that my shoulders are back up here again. I saw something. Someone said something about you can notice what, using the word trauma in the sense that what a lasting emotional impact has on someone, but that like trying to impress parents can leave a crippled, not a hunched stance, or like not a straight posture, and my posture is my shoulders are constantly rounded, and I'm having to roll them back and straighten up, but then they keep going up again.
Actually, I try and fix my posture too as well. It's interesting how like different body parts, like how like people grow into their posture. It's interesting. I haven't really looked into the psychology of that, but I can see as I've been like correcting my posture a lot more, it's becoming more obvious to other people, and I'm just like, I feel like it shouldn't be like a spotlight on me. It should like, oh, this is the healthy way to sit, and it kind of, I don't know. I just see that like the way I feel when I sit in the correct posture. I feel like there's like so much energy going straight to my brain, so much calmness, that I'm like, dang, like I can see why everyone's kind of like, not everyone, but some people.
Do you ever notice that, like for instance, now I'm set like this. If you're in the meditation, I often find I start off like maybe like I'm leaning on my hands a little bit, and then as I get deeper, my body just naturally kind of corrects itself, and then eventually I'm in a more, maybe it is the way that the energy is flowing, but I naturally will align, and I'm sat in a different position to how I started in. I feel like lighter, or just something pulls me back. And stuff like reflexology and stuff. It's crazy. I love it.
I think so. I feel that, and honestly, I'm constantly like. We're talking about energy before. I'm constantly bringing my lower energy all the way up, so I'm always thinking about the spine, even throughout the day. As I sit here now, thinking about like how it can be a straight line there, like breathing. I do this meditation called the microcosmic orbit, and it's about bringing libido energy upward into the higher centers of your different chakras, which is chakras, for those who don't know, is like, you can look at it in different ways, but in a scientific way, you can look at it as the contact point between different nerve endings intersecting. So nerves are going way over here, but there's a high traffic area where they meet. There's like 7 where they meet. Well, 6, because the 7th one is, above here. But meditating on those are kind of like are like different sides of your brain, basically. Your body, your brain, same thing. Your mind and body, same thing. But yeah, just I start from the bottom and bring it all the way up, and then bring it all the way down. I do that every morning to for clarity, and also to control my energy. So my energy isn't going in. Oh wait, my energy isn't going in any direction. Like I want to be in more control of who I am. Yeah.
Most of us just go around spraying it, don't we? Like just spraying a bit of energy here, a bit of energy there, and we have a lot, and a lot of us squander it on, like we say, without intention. Let's say without the intention, we're going to use up the energy regardless, but unless we have it directed. But yeah, like you were saying, the cycling it back up and down. I have to get better at. No, don't have to do anything. I'm working to get more conscious with being aware that it is a never-ending flow until we end it. Let's say until we do release. Let's say.
Yeah.
We were talking about retention.
Oh yeah. It's kind of a topic I've been obsessed with, actually. For YouTube purposes or anywhere we'll call it like seed retention or like celibacy, because it'll be, algorithm and all that. But I find that it's a great source of energy, and it almost feels as though the times where I don't practice it, I feel kind of like asleep, like slightly asleep.
Yeah.
But all respect to anyone who everyone, we got different relationships, different walks of life. So all respect to every walks of life. But some people don't say they feel it, like the seed. Because so basically, let me start off from the beginning. Seed retention is basically men for like different traditions in the world believe that they can cultivate energy by practicing celibacy, and use that energy, and if you maintain that energy, you can transmutate it into something different. Like you can get money, or like the life you want, and it's essentially like life force energy in physical form. Just one drop of, one session, you can fill up the population of like the United States with, if each one had a chance to have one. And it's like, wow, this is a lot of life force you have, and it takes so long to rejuvenate it. But yeah, so this is old. It used to be a secret actually in some cultures, but I think it's helped me in a way that like repair my body, made me more confident, made me stronger, made me wiser actually, because it just made me wiser. It's just like I feel like the communication between me and divine is all the time. Like I feel like I'm always in connection with divine. And you ever have moments where you're like, just like, fuck, man, I give up. And, man, I freaking give up, man. Why is God doing this to me? Like I don't really have those anymore, even though, like, there are some tough times I have, actually. But I just see it as like, oh, like, this is preparing me for something. And also, what's the lesson? And, like, because I know, I feel so good right now that no way that, God is against me.
Yeah. But it always gets worse before it gets better. And like the final part's always the most fucking, turbulent time. But when you were getting into it, how did you navigate around that? Because I've had lots of my friends have many different experiences with it, and Was it a struggle for you to get to the point where you were able to retain it, like without self-sabotaging or going back in and just busting a nut?
I'm gonna say this to the viewers. No fap and semen retention can be, the journey can be more toxic than actually the addiction. It could be more toxic than addiction, because if you fall into it, you're like, oh, I just like, just know.
Like your self-worth depends on whether you can hold your nut for long enough, and if you break it, you feel like a fucking failure.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Dude, I promise you, like, you're fine. It's all grace. Like, it's all grace. Like, the reason why I got through it is not because of me. It's all grace. Like, but I can show you how. Like, but like, my thing is that it's a compulsive act that a lot of people, got into from a younger age when they didn't even know what it was. Like, 11 years old for me, a lot of people, and a habit from 11 years old, that's just instantaneous. Like, it's not even a thought. You don't even have to think about that. So what you have to do is, you have to stretch out the time between when you're doing it so you have more ability to make a decision, because all that stuff is unconscious.
Do you mean when you feel the impulse, do something that will interject it, like go make a cup of tea or something like that, like for example's sake, where you interject, break up the emotional response, so then you have time to, like, let's say, stop the emotional brain being overridden by, or the reptilian brain being overridden by emotions? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean times trying to just work on extending how long you go in between each nut?
Oh, no, I'm in the first one.
The first one, so like
But
interject.
I don't recommend resisting at all. I recommend, if you feel like doing it, go for it. But I also recommend that you sit with it first. Sit with it. Like, okay, you're gonna do it. You're gonna commit to it. You meditate for a minute or make a coffee, and then each time a little bit longer, and then you might not. It might not be this year that you stop, but eventually someday.
Yeah, you're bringing the awareness to it.
One day, just one day, one day everyone's gonna get control. I mean, not everyone. If you choose to, one day you're gonna have control over it and guide it, because it's a lot of life force energy, man. It's just like, and I see men, depressed. I have like certain men in my family that are like down, and I see the life force. I can tell in their eyes. If I could just be personal real quick, I lost a brother 2 years ago, and I think if there was something I would be able to help him with, is probably that. I think he could have probably like benefited from, because you're younger and you're kind of experimenting, and it doesn't feel. That moment of release feels good, but it goes down. Like, the overall well-being goes down. So when you don't have that spike, you kind of stay up.
Yeah.
So you kind of like, you're not going to be like that, but you're going to be like up, and I don't know. I just think that will help a lot of men out.
Yeah, well, like you were saying, the spike, equal and opposite. Like, every action is a reaction, as above, so below, or whatever way you want to look at it. If you are spiking that way in one direction, you're going to get an equal and opposite spike in the opposite direction. And like you were saying, it's not maybe that you're fucking living on the spike, but are we trying to live on the spike, or are we trying to bring our overall baseline up so that we have we're walking on a different plane?
Yeah, and actually, you can actually be with your woman. Actually, this is where I'm at right now, because I took an vow for a certain period of time of how long I'm gonna do this, because I feel like my mind has been hyper sexualized. So I kind of want to desexualize my mind. Like so, like
detox, but dick detox.
yeah. Just get away from all that. You know, there's so much things that program us. But yeah, I want to take a little bit of time to. I think I was where I was going there with that one.
Yeah, like have a extended period where you are celibate before you then introduce.
Oh yeah, with interactions with women, um, you can actually, be with your woman and not do that, and not even have the desire to do that. I've read. There's a book called
Where's the Superior Man?
that one was going to The Secret to Cultivating Sexual Energy. Uh, I think something like that. It's Menta Chia. He's a Thai guy. He's a Thai. I think he went to he's from Thailand. I think he lived in America for a little bit, but he has a YouTube channel that's all about that. The book changed my life. I think it's called It's Cultivating Male Sexual Energy, something like that. It's a quick read, but like it shows you the microcosmic orbit and certain techniques that people do to, control themselves. Some I might not agree with. I haven't tried out yet, but yeah, you can.
Stuff that you're talking about using the breath.
Yeah, you can bring it. Basically, you take your time when you with your lady, and I find that like ladies kind of like that more sometimes, depending on the girl. But you just take your time with her, and you can last longer. And also, when you feel you have the urge, you can bring that energy up to your spine and bring it up to your head, and it'll be a full body orgasm rather than a controlled spot. But I haven't really tried that because I've before I had a girlfriend, when I had my girlfriend, the 4 months ago before I came here, I think I wasn't disciplined enough to do that. So that's why I'm taking time away from trying to,
Yeah, just have your period where it's like this is your cup of tea, but it's a fractal level. This is a big cup of tea. This is your however long you're doing it for. This is your months long break in the flow. But yeah, I can attest to for sure. You can be with your woman and cycle it, and you don't. It's no longer part of the experience. Still have times where I do.
Yeah. But I see you have like a kind of a spark in your eyes too. I was like, oh, I wonder if you like.
Well, I started it by an accident. It was in lockdown, and my room didn't have a door, so I got into it just by default. And then I realized then it was like, shit, man, it's been like 3 months, and I was like, fucking hell, I'm not even feeling the urge to. And then I started to reap the benefit. I didn't know anything about it. I'd never researched NoFap. I think I'd heard the word, but I didn't know anything about it. It wasn't intentional. I didn't go into it with that intent. And then it was only after the fact that I then started to feel the benefits. Like you said, started off with the physical stuff, felt the confidence, felt the strength in the gym, etc. And then, because they were more shallow reasons, that wouldn't lead me to maintain it completely. Let's say, like because my why or my motivation wasn't, because it was surface level, I don't think that we would have been able to, or I wasn't able to retain it whilst making love still. Whereas then once I dove into it more, like you were talking about, like the more occult knowledge or the reasonings behind it and more ancient teachings of it, it changed in my mind from being more of a selfish thing to more of a spiritual thing. And then, like everything, then I had my stage where I would feel guilty every time, and then that isn't healthy. But yeah, I really noticed then, like, just emotional patterns that would come each time, and going, I don't want to keep cycling this. I don't need to, like, let's say, like, something happens 3 times. It's like, fool me once, fool man can't get fooled again. Like, I've seen this happen now. am I going to keep repeating the same thing? And that helped become a reason and just another to when it does get to that point to and be able to and it does reach tipping point sometimes, and I find then it's like a cycle of it happens a couple of times and you get back in the momentum and then you can go again months. It's I think like with everything it's momentum. Like I remember when I didn't eat meat for years and then I ate one piece of meat and then you start eating meat lots. It's everything is momentum. And I was just thinking there, like content, that's massively momentum based. What we were talking about, remember when I came into the cafe earlier?
Oh, yeah.
What were you saying? Who are you listening to, or who are you learning from?
Oh yeah, who are you? Oh yeah.
Recently, we've gone through a massive change with, like, I don't know if it's all come in the last, like 5 days maybe. Everything is, our entire plan, everything's been completely, I won't say turned upside down because that has negative connotations, but we've changed our game plan completely. And yeah, it's funny, we were talking about the content. I find so much of the content I'm now being shown or it's being sent to me, it's all saying like the exact messages I need to hear, and I love that, like part of like the divine communication just comes in the coolest forms, like just makes you laugh out loud sometimes. But like we were hitting on, you can often now tell the intent behind people who are talking on the internet. Like everybody has a reason to be saying something. Yes, they might be trying to help, but there's often some kind of paywall behind it, or there's some other, which is of course it's business, and I think it is potentially one of the most lucrative and opportunistic ways. Like personally, I'd much rather create content and have that be a job as opposed to offloading and giving 70% of my time away to somebody else. But the repercussion of that is now all the content we're consuming, it has that dimension to it. So everything is people talking, but the reason that they're talking is because one or both of them want the audience to pay them. And it's led quite a superficial, or it's just I don't know, like not fake, but I don't know, it's a weird form of communication that we're now experiencing with the digital world, and with like the fact that so much of it spends so much time on there. It's creating a much more superficial way of viewing everything.
Yeah, I learned that from this one talk. Your wish is your command. Who do you listen to? It's a pretty interesting talk, but it really made me realize that like how much I've been misled. You know, we're talking about like we both felt like naive at some point, and I think we both still feel a little bit that way. Yeah, who do you listen to has been such a interesting question. You can look at the surface level and see it like, okay, this person has information, whatever, but you might just need that surface level information. So sometimes it don't really even matter, like, where's the restroom? Like, but like, there's some type of information that how they say it, why they say it. It's like so many aspects. Why this question is so important. Like, who do you listen to? Like, let me slow down. Let me try to figure out how I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I was misled 2 years ago, and I had to really figure out who was the person I'm listening to. And during that time, I had a mushroom trip, and in some way, I just wanted to say that, like, I was thinking from a dualistic perspective of like, is it God or the devil? Or are you listening to the God or are you listening to the devil? But I still take that, I'm trying not to say like, oh, cast people away, condemn people or actions or whatever. But I'm trying to listen to God in every direction. Every person he's showing himself through, or she's showing herself through. What do you listen to? Like, there's some people who may try and teach you how to be successful about with money and all that stuff, and they might have it, but they might be just writers, and like they made their money from writing about how to be successful, and it's kind of like you're getting caught up in their loop, It's like, and even some of the people who are successful, they're not really writing their books, they got other people to write their books for them, and it's like, can you really listen to these books? Can you really listen to like people who have like secondhand information, because they might be adding their own spin to it, So it's really up to us to decide ultimately, because we should listen to ourselves, at least a little bit, at least, a good amount.
Trying to walk the line of imposing ourselves on the grand plan and actually trusting ourselves and following the intuition. Yeah, it's a tricky one, walking that line, trying to figure out what we're supposed to do. Personally, what we felt like, or what I felt like anyways, is that I've been trying to, like, listening to creators online, listening to certain things, listening also to the messages, but then also putting my own spin on it and trying to squeeze it too tightly. And just recently then realized, fucking hell, like, maybe I'm listening to myself a little bit too much here. I think we should listen to ourselves over everybody, but we should listen to whatever you want to call it.
Source, spirit, universe, God, anything.
That's number one. And yeah, I think I was definitely imposing my version of things too quickly and too strictly, putting too many boxes on it. It has to be this way, because let's say this person online says it should be this way, so I'm going to do it like this. And yeah, it's a dangerous trap you can get stuck in.
Yeah, especially nowadays where like we all just want like an answer so we can ease our pain a little bit. So if somebody, like, for example, you got like stung by a jellyfish, that kind of sucks, like you want to get that answer, you want that problem solved right now, like, some people want that meal right now, some people want their rent paid right now so they can relax. So it's like, I can understand where, even myself, I can get lost in this, and learning to maintain that higher consciousness while going through these like trials is definitely something that I guess we all have to battle with at some point, just to think from a level a few steps higher than you are to get out of it, yeah, like what's that one Einstein quote?
Like, the problem cannot be solved by the same level of consciousness that was created.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see why, people get got, and I got because I was, thinking from such a anxious place. Yeah, just want a solution real quick.
Yeah, like we were talking earlier, Darry, about everything is already here. We can feel it. There's no doubt in my mind that what we're working towards it's there. It's already done. Like, I'm not worried on if it's going to happen, but I'm living in this state of perpetual working, stressing, moving, because I want it now. And it's like, no, man, like, it's already there. Just take a goddamn breath and just, like you mentioned earlier, grace. I put out a video this week just talking about that. Give yourself grace. God damn it, because we're in paradise. Like, this place is insane. And I'm in work mode, and my brain's in work mode, and I can't even take a fucking day off properly because I feel guilty. And it's ridiculous. Like, I'm in no way worried of whether it will work or not. It's already working. The money's already flowing, and yet I'm still in the state of just not giving myself a break, not giving myself a day off, not because I want it more, I want it quicker, I want it like you were saying. Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, grace, it's a big one, man. It really is a big one.
Yeah, I just kind of like, since I've been on the journey, retention journey, I just kind of give it up to, anything, any compliment I get is like, is always her, him, universe. It's not me doing this. I'm just like a commentator in the background, like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but, I'm giving them all the keys, man.
Yeah, it is getting dark.
Yeah.
One last thing I do want to ask you about, because it's going off of that, the grace. You're living the artist life. You're probably the opposite to me in the sense that it appears that you don't have that guilt that, like, all I want to do is make art, make music, do all this stuff, and that's what I spend the least of my time doing. I want to read. I don't know, I've fucking read less than 10 pages of my book since I came here. I brought like 4 or 5 books. I've been here for 4 months. How have you given yourself that grace where you don't feel guilty to not be working?
Because I feel like you do one thing how you do everything, and I feel like everything I'm doing is the same thing. So like, and especially if I acknowledge that, because I can attack my goals in a different angle. So like, this thinking very abstractly, but like the way I make art is the way that I talk, is the way that I talk, is the way that I dance, the way, and it kind of brings me back to like relationship with women, like that. Like, I see it all as kind of like that. Like, we can like, lose ourselves in that moment and waste our energy and go plummet up and go down, or we could just stay steady. But that's what I aspire for, just have a balanced life. And by doing that, I feel like I feel like the solutions come a lot sooner, like the solutions to my problems. Like, for example, I wanted my Instagram to be like singular. I wanted to be like just one thing. I'm just this artist. And the moment I started putting everything in there, which came naturally, and which made my life balance, I post a workout video. People ask me for art commissions. I post an art video. People want to work out with me, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, it's like, so yeah. I just kind of see it as like, you're gonna come up with some solutions when you have that balance, and but everyone has their own build. Some people have a balanced build. Some people have a more different type of build. So I can't really say what balance will look like for you, but definitely respect the grind, because I see you killing it.
It can be a prison, because then you're stuck in the perpetual hamster wheel. So yeah, I really want to learn to give myself grace, and just to give myself, like, respect myself enough to do what I want to do, as opposed to what my fears or traumas are pushing me or propelling me towards. So yeah. Whoosh.
Yeah. Where's it sit in your body though? What area does it sit in your body?
My heart is, we did an illumination this morning and we opened it up a bit, but I've got a ball here. I have everything is closed here. Or tightened at least. So yeah, we moved it around a bit this morning, and it was, I think, that's why we were supposed to run this up in the morning. Bro, I woke up heavy, just sadness, guilt, all sorts of stuff, just heavy energy, and it's been like that since the solstice.
Will you accept a gift from me?
Always.
Yeah, man. I got this one right here. I feel like this helped me out with my heart problems recently. Oh. Try that on. I feel like that really helped me out with my heart problems. It's Eucatite. You cut. I can't really say it, but I feel like that's like one of my favorites, man. I feel it when I'm working out. It just hit my heart, and it's like,
Green and all.
yeah,
Love my dude.
yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, my pleasure, brother.
All right, man. I think this is a nice time to round it up before it gets pitch black. But man, really, really appreciate this talk. Thank you, man.
Thanks for inviting me over. Yeah, I love it.